Morning. Thanks for being here with me today. My name is Alek. I lead sales and partnerships at Ethermail. I'll try to keep it short and sweet today, but we're going to be talking about communication in Web3 and how at large it's broken and how email, and particularly Ethermail, can help solve for this. So this is probably a familiar sight for most of you, right? This is the status quo of communication in Web3, and that is an insurmountable amount of group chats in messages, right? This is overwhelming, far from ideal, and it's like this because it's broken. And communication in Web3 is broken for a few reasons. These 5 in particular. So email and communication in Web3 right now is unfiltered, which means there's an inverse correlation between group size and message quality, okay? So the larger the group, the lower the message quality. The larger the group, the more GM, when Moon, when Lambo you're gonna get. It's also unoptimized. So the data layer and communication layer are divorced. There's no way for someone to message me, to talk to me, segmenting by my on-chain identity or activity. It's unsolicited, which means since anyone can sort of shoot a message in a group chat, right, I can be spoken to by anybody, and this opens the door for phishing. It's also unstandardized, which means that there's no real way for someone to speak to me just with my wallet address alone, and it's unmasked. So with sort of current options, there's no way for me to pertain or preserve my anonymity, okay? So even something like Telegram requires you to put a phone number, okay? I keep on saying me frequently here because these are pain points of an end user, but these pain points also translate to a project side, to an on-chain community. They're a little bit differently, and they look like this. So we have 4 pain points, right, from a project side and on-chain community of why comms in Web3 are broken. The first one is disengaged. So over 50% of end users are muting either communication apps or communication channels, right? If any of you have a project or any of you have an on-chain community, not being able to speak to over half of your users is obviously not a good thing. It's impersonal. So again, this data layer and communication layer are divorced. So for me, from a project standpoint, if I want to segment my user base based on their on-chain identity and on-chain activity, I currently can't do that. It's scattered. So to talk to all my users, I need to speak to them across different verticals. And it's blocked. So traditional communication templates and platforms are blanket banning you from using Web3 language. Email, by and large, can solve for this, even if it's not considered super sexy or revolutionary. This is a real exchange I had with somebody. So partnerships is not always easy. You'll see he tells me at the very end, email should die. Best regards. So even though if we're not friends, me and him, if you go to his project website, you'll notice he's actually asking for emails, right, to send newsletters. Why is this? It's because email's king across the board. So in Web3, it's king for logins. We can see for these different projects. It's king for notification security, and it sort of reigns supreme across everything. So ticketing, e-commerce, newsletters. Why is this? Because email is probably the best B2C communication platform sort of ever existed. It's ubiquitous. Everyone uses it across the globe. But when we look at it from the perspective of blockchain, it has real problems. So what were those again? It's not synced to the blockchain. It's hard to remain anonymous. There's real privacy concerns, right? We're open the door to phishing scams and spam. So someone has to come in and optimize email for blockchain. We've done that. Prior to speaking about what we've done and what we're doing, it's probably best to take a look at sort of the communication landscape as a whole. Okay, so we have this chart. It has 4 different groupings based on sort of product type, and it's plotted on a chart for success probability and solution similarity to ours. So on the bottom left, we have sort of incumbent Web2 messaging platforms. We have them on the bottom left because it's not optimized for blockchain. And then it still hasn't solved for this group size, message quality, inverse correlation. Okay, to the right, we have their cousins, which are taking sort of messaging and porting it to Web3 on new protocols. But we don't see them having too much success because we see sort of 2 points of friction. One, it's new protocols, there's a technological adoption curve, and then there's like a product adoption curve. And still at the same point, it's not solving for this group size problem, okay? Then on the top left, we have the giants, the Web2 email incumbents, so Google. Right? These guys have lots of money. They can sort of conquer the world with their money. However, there are costs to them to entering Web3 too early. Right? There's economic costs, there's effort costs, and perhaps more importantly to them, there's a perception cost. So we don't see them entering the space until Web3 sort of reach the masses, at which point what's going to make most sense for them is to acquire a king, right, in the land. We can see this through people like MailChimp here in this bucket, who are blanket banning you for using Web3 language. So for us, the people who have the most success are in the top right corner where we sit, and those are people who are reimagining Web3 email, or reimagining email for Web3, or optimizing email for blockchain, where we see ourselves as the current leader. So the question is, what are we doing and how are we doing it? So we have 3 business pillars, 2 principal stakeholders. On one side, we have our personal mailing solution. This is our product offering to an end user, right? And it's just, in quotes, email. So instead of sending email to alek@gmail.com, you send email to my 0x@ethermail.io. So this means your wallet address is your email address. So for an end user, this means wallet-to-wallet email, anonymous email, privacy-first email, encrypted email, good email, okay? On the flip side, we have our offering to projects or on-chain communities. So this is DAOs, dApps, protocols, L1s, and it's what we call our enterprise mailing solution. Okay, to projects, we offer MailChimp. So it's like a Web3 native MailChimp. This means we offer the marketing and communication suite of MailChimp, so the automations, the templates, the campaigns, enriched with on-chain data. Okay, so if I have 1 million holders and I want to email my 1 million holders, I can. If I want to segment them based on their wallet holding or on-chain activity, I can. So if I have 1 million holders, I want to email them, I can. If I want to email just my whales, just those who have a certain NFT, those who have a certain number of tokens, I can. All right? And to really sort of help this stick in your mind, we can look at like what we're trying to solve for through an example. So let's imagine I'm an NFT issuer on there's a primary sale. To you, I ask you for your name, your number, your blood type, your favorite food, your mom's name, your dog's name, whatever, right? Let's imagine you give this information to me. But then there's a secondary sale. Then there's a tertiary sale. I no longer know who my end user is qualitatively, but more importantly, I have no way to talk to them. I have to hope they come to my Telegram, I have to hope they come to my Discord, and I have to hope these channels aren't muted. And as we established, they're almost always muted. So as we saw it, there didn't exist a medium of high fidelity communication. And that's where we sit, right? Because we're delivering emails to wallet addresses, because we're scanning the chain, we're always going to deliver it to the right individual. And plus, we're offering now brands the ability to sort of marry this communication and data layer and really supercharge their communication, okay? So we have these 2 business pillars. We have our last one, which is an advertising marketplace. So in the same way you can go to Facebook and run an ad campaign against profiling data, right? This doesn't really exist in Web3. Lots of people are taking a stab at it. So are we. So we have over 500,000 end users. We have their on-chain information because it's on-chain, and we're encouraging them to opt in and give us profiling data. With these 2 sides, we'll be able to deliver ad campaigns to verified wallets. So if someone wants to run an ad campaign targeting men in Brazil, 18 and 30, who have declared they like fashion, have participated in DeFi, hold a World of Woman NFT in their wallet, hold 1 ETH in their wallet, we'll be able to deliver that ad campaign for them. And the end user, for opting in to being advertised to, will earn token in like a read-to-earn model. So if you guys are familiar with Brave or Brave Attention Token, it's similar functionality. So how does Ethermail technically work? The emails don't pass on-chain, right? We're built on standard IMAP SMTP protocol. The emails are encrypted end-to-end. Those encryption keys are stored on-chain, right? The emails don't pass on-chain because if they did, you run into some issues. You run into gas fees, which is semi-solvable, but you run into sort of more important stuff like permanence and retrievability issues. So that means if my emails were on-chain and I wanted to delete them, I wouldn't be able to delete them. So for us, it doesn't make a lot of sense. And inversely, being built on a standard protocol, email protocol, gives us some extra functionality. So for any Web2 projects out there, we can be integrated into a sort of standard tech stack. So if you wanted to track your Ethermails through your existing CRM, you could do that. And then it also means, right, since it's just your wallet address at ethermail.io, and since we're on IMAP, if you want to ingest this email and open it in an Outlook or your Apple Mail, et cetera, you could do that. So what does it look like, our current market look like with projects? So we're live with over 50 projects. We're signed with over 100 projects, and we're launching about 20 projects a month. And we sort of cast a really wide net. So we've launched like NFT projects, like Pudgy Penguins, DeFi projects, like the Engine Starter, and even Web2 brands with Jarritos, right, which is a soda brand out of Mexico. Right? And here's a case study with one project in particular, DuckDAO. We can see sort of their reading rates are over 30%. They have over 5,500 signups to their email newsletter, and they have over 100,000 impressions. These impressions are sort of impressions from social media about them sort of migrating or being able to becoming to start using Ethermail as a communication channel. What about from an end user perspective? So if we look at our sample cohort of our most engaged users, we see really promising numbers. So we see people with average read rates of over 50% and daily logins and usage of over 30%. Right? So on the project side, we're seeing lots of success. From an end user side, we're really happy with the numbers. So this is all I got for you guys today. If you're sort of intrigued by what we're doing, if you sort of see the value that sort of email being optimized for blockchain can sort of offer, I encourage you guys. We've got a stand over there, right in the back corner. You can come talk to me or my colleague who's sitting right there. Wave your hand, Pietro. And I thank you for your time, and I hope to chat to all of you in a bit. Thank you.